Logan Gearsall is an item that excited me for two main reasons when he was announced back last year. Up first, he's a ghost car from the Cars on the Road episode Lights Out, and that is a heavily underrepresented group in the Cars diecast line right now. For ghost cars, we only have Mallory Carhut, and then the Ghost Tractor, which is really just kind of a gag character, and then Diana Giordano, who's a pretty cool item, but she only exists as a color changer. So I was very, very happy to see us get another one in the form of Logan Gearsall. But what was most exciting to me about Logan is his car model. Logan is a Model T, and that's not a type of car we see in the diecast line outside of Lizzie, which is really, really cool. Of course, they filled the Haunted Hotel and Cars on the Road with a ton of old car models. They're all spirits that have passed on. Very clever to make most of them older types of cars. I guess technically we have the twins, but they're not like ghost cars in the same way. Lisa and Luis, they're really not kind of in the same camp. But those certainly weren't old cars. In fact, they were rather young. Rest in peace, gone too soon. You're very scary. Anyway, I was really excited to see us get a new Model T. Other than Lizzie and those very, very rare Stanley variants, we've never gotten Model Ts in the Cars diecast line. So it's always really cool to me when a type of car that's used on a main character gets a new variant as a background character, like Megan Cara, right? That was a Porsche that appeared in Cars 2 that wasn't Sally. I think that's super cool. Logan Gearsall is a Model T that isn't Lizzie or Stanley, and I think that is really, really cool, especially because Model Ts are such an iconic type of car. Very excited to get a new one in the diecast line. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another review and to another 2025 Cars diecast review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Logan Gearsall, who is a re-release. He was new for 2024. Unfortunately, I didn't find him last year because of the absolutely terrible Cars distribution in the US last summer. He was one of several 2024 on the road items to return for 2025, and I'm happy to be able to pick him up and take a look at him for you guys and add him into my collection. Pretty happy to have found this one. Now, I believe I now have all of the 2024 Cars on the Road cars that I missed that have come back for 2025. Now I just have to find a way to get the remaining ones. I know Byron Crashforth and the Clown car from 2024 I'm missing. I think that's it. I don't have Randy still. I never found his 2023 or 2024 release. But yeah, those guys didn't come back for 2025, which is fine. That's a good thing. We don't want 2025 to just be 2024 re-releases, obviously. But the 2024 re-releases they did do in 2025 ended up helping me add some cars to my collection. You know, Mattel didn't know at the time when they planned it that we'd have distribution issues over here, so it ended up being pretty helpful to collectors like me. Happy that I was able to get some of the missing 2024 cars this year. But yeah, I'm going to have to resort to probably the internet to get those other guys. I don't really mind. I can live without Byron Crashforth and the Clown, whose name is somehow slipping my mind. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm usually very good with names. No. Okay, anyway, can you tell I've been on break for almost 2 weeks? Okay, anyway, we have really nice artwork here of Logan Gearsall, of course. Looks just like him when he pops out of the painting in Cars on the Road. He, of course, is floating off the ground as well, which is super nice. He was one of the painting ghost horrors, just like Mallory Carhut. Very reminiscent of kind of a classic ghost thing, right? The popping out of the paintings. Always reminded me of the part of the Haunted Mansion in Disney, where you have the two guys that come out of the painting and shoot at each other. Anyway, on the back of the package, we've got As Seen in Cars on the Road with Cryptid Buster McQueen, Road Trip Mater, Niall Speedcone, Barney Cones, Margaret Motoray, and Cave McQueen. So let's get this guy out of the package. On the subject of Disney, the Disney parks, I have been spending pretty much all week editing together all of the footage I filmed when I took a trip to Disney World last month. And I'm going to make it into a huge vlog that I'm posting over on Muptown Funk, which I am very, very excited to post. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to stay tuned to that channel. Anyway, here's Logan Gearsall out of the package, and the first thing you'll probably notice about him is the fact that he's not the same model as Lizzie, or maybe you wouldn't have noticed that because I didn't do a side-by-side. Yeah, he's not the same model as Lizzie, and I think that's pretty interesting. This is a rare case where I'm going to go out of my way to say that I don't think Mattel should have made a new model for this item, and that is weird to say, you know. I guess actually technically they are supposed to be a bit different in universe. You know, if I look closely here at his artwork, he does have mirrors, which Lizzie doesn't have, and he does have a differently shaped grille, so it does make sense for him to be a different model. He's not the exact same type of car as Lizzie, so forget what I said. Props to you, Mattel. They should be different molds. Part of me was just excited, though, to see a car be a repaint of Lizzie. But if that's not accurate in universe, then I guess I can't complain. I will say I don't like his proportions, especially compared to Lizzie. I just don't know why his eyes are so wide, and they also feel very squished. Like, he feels like he has kind of squashed proportions. Like, Lizzie looks much more realistically proportioned than him, and I assume, again, it's based on, obviously, the character in the show, where it's kind of hard to tell. He does definitely have a wider area here where the eyes are than Lizzie does, so it is not inaccurate. I just don't really like the proportions on him, if that makes any sense. What I do like is the color scheme. I absolutely love how they pulled off these ghost cars, painting them entirely in a flat green color to make it look like they're ghosts. I thought that was a really clever way to get around the fact that obviously you can't make translucent die casts. Much like Mallory before him, they gave Logan here sort of greenish yellow for the whites of the eyes, which is really the main splash of color on these cars, and I think that looks really, really great. I think the ghost cars are a pretty underrated bunch, honestly. Looks like he's got a paint bubble right above his eye. We've got the headlights there. He actually has a bit of wear and tear on him, kind of painted on, a bit of weathering in some areas, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. I feel like it isn't as consistent with the color scheme all being the same thing, but I don't really mind, honestly. It does make sense to have these guys be a bit, you know, sort of damaged. We got the lights there, this big wicked smile. He's got a really solid facial expression. Mallory! No! Ugh. Fell off the shelf. I guess now we know how she died. Honestly, I think out of the ghost cars, he probably has the best expression, other than the tractor. He just has like the most wicked, kind of scary expression, which I appreciate. Mallory does have better teeth, though. Moving on to the side, you can see more of, again, those kind of squish out proportions compared to someone like Lizzie. Again, not inaccurate, just different there, but pretty much the same in a lot of other areas. Even have this part here. You can see, again, very similar types of cars. Moving on to the back, we have the spare tire, which interestingly is placed at an angle. Is that just my copy of him? Or is that just how he is? Yeah, the back here is actually on an angle, so I guess it is supposed to be like that. Again, another difference from Lizzie. But again, the shaping, general shaping, is pretty much the same. His license plate reads CO8-16F, a much more modern-looking license plate than Lizzie's is. And you can continue to see the similarities, but slight differences. You can very much tell these are supposed to be very similar types of cars, right? Same manufacturer, same type of car. This one's just a slightly different model. There is a look at the base, and an interesting thing I noticed when this guy was in the box is that he actually doesn't have the Model T copyright. I was wondering why he had a different mold than Lizzie before I started filming, and I checked the back of the packaging. I realized there was no Model T copyright, so I checked his base. He doesn't have one like Lizzie does. So I wonder if he's different from her because legally he's not a Model T. Maybe these sort of different proportions were to make him legally distinct. Or maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Regardless, Logan Gearsall is a nice addition to the collection. I think, honestly, he'd look better without Lizzie because him having different proportions from her, I feel is a bit distracting. I think he fits along with the other ghost cars just fine, though. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to go apologize profusely to Mallory for dropping her. Bye now.